dogs and leave. Unbeknownst to them, Hannibal has a pin, uses it to unshackle himself, and disappears into the darkness. When the two dogs charge at Hannibal, it becomes very quiet and ends with the dogs bound to each other with the same handcuff. Meanwhile, Ranger Bosco B.A. Baracus arrives at a warehouse after jacking a sports car. He notifies a gang leader that he'll be quitting the trade and would want his van back. The gang leader didn't like what B.A. said and ordered his gang to attack. B.A. fights back and reunites with his beloved GMC Vandura van. At the same time, at General Tuco's ranch, Lieutenant Faceman Peck is held captive by Tuco. In the background, Tuco's wife is being held as well for sleeping with the lieutenant. Subsequently, Hannibal spots the GMC van and tries to get it from B.A. Hannibal explains that he needs the van to rescue a friend. But after knowing that they're both Army Rangers, the two agree to rescue another Ranger in trouble. Not soon after, they make it just in time to save Face from a painful untimely demise. The three make a flashy escape. Faceman complains, but the lieutenant thanks him after knowing that B.A. is another Ranger. Later, they take refuge in a hospital and try to get B.A.'s wounds patched up. A man pretending to be a doctor stitches up B.A.'s injury like a lightning bolt. They soon discover that the fake doctor is Captain Howling Mad Murdoch, a decorated pilot but with a few screws loose in the head. Hannibal recruits Murdoch's services. The four Rangers manage to get in a medical chopper and fly away. But Tuco's right on their tail with an attack chopper of his own. The Mexican general engages with the Rangers, but with Murdoch's maneuvering skills, the Rangers are still alive. Murdoch does an impressive barrel roll using the chopper. It's so spectacular that even Tuco was impressed. But B.A. wasn't as impressed. Instead, it resulted in his permanent fear of flying. The fight ends when they manage to lure Tuco's chopper into U.S. airspace, where it is destroyed by an F-22 Raptor. A result of Hannibal's brilliant elaborate planning. 8 years and 80 successful missions later, the A-Team, which consists of the four Rangers, is now highly regarded and is known as an elite combat unit. They are currently stationed in Iraq. While doing their own thing, Hannibal is approached by a CIA agent named Lynch, who reveals that Iraqi insurgents have somehow gotten their hands on U.S. Treasury plates, which they use to manufacture counterfeit currency. Lynch wants Hannibal's A-Team to get the plates back and possibly destroy $1 billion of fake cash that is due to be moved out in Baghdad. At the same time, a U.S. Defense Criminal Investigative Service captain named Sosa arrives and confronts her ex-lover, the Faceman. She warns the lieutenant and his team to stay away from the plates and advises him to stay out of Baghdad. Later, together with Agent Lynch, Hannibal goes to his commanding officer and longtime friend, General Morrison, to ask for permission to give the mission a go. General Morrison argued that they were given orders to stay out of Baghdad. But Hannibal insisted, knowing full well that the plates in the wrong hands could do great harm. The general gives his blessing. While on the way to meet with the others, Hannibal and B.A. encounter men from a private security firm, Black Forest, led by a man named Pike. A-Team's relationship with Black Forest is rather passive-aggressive. Hannibal sees them as trigger-happy frat boys who's only in it for the money. Before the mission, General Morrison gives them a toast for good luck. The plan is for Face to act as a foreign press and sneak into a building connected to a manhole so that he can intercept the convoy from below and take out the Humvee escorts. Meanwhile, B.A. joins the fray by crashing a motorbike to take out another escort car, take out the enemies on board and drive the truck. Hannibal's part is to slide down on a suspended wire to take out a sentry on top of the truck. Everything goes exactly as planned. When the truck hits a river at the end of the tunnel, Murdoch arrives in a V-22 Osprey and smokes the pursuing enemy. Hannibal and Face hook up the container and signal to move out. Meanwhile, B.A. is trapped inside the van and protests about Murdoch's appearance, which can only mean one thing, that they're in the air. The team safely made it back to base and was about to be welcomed by the general. But suddenly, General Morrison's car explodes. The A-Team gets distracted, and so Pike and Black Forest take the opportunity to get the plates. By the time Hannibal notices, it is already too late. The container van explodes, stunning the whole A-Team. Later, everybody involved aside from Black Forest was court-martialed. Black Forest couldn't be court. 6 months later, Lynch pays ex-Colonel Hannibal a visit in prison. The CIA agent cuts to the chase and reveals that Pike may be attempting to sell the plates on the black market with the help of an unknown Arab patron. Hannibal, who has been following Pike from his prison cell, shows a more precise picture than Lynch and strikes a deal with the agent. Agent Lynch will clean up his and his team's records in exchange for the plates. Lynch accepts. Soon, Hannibal escapes incarceration with the help of a drug-laced cigar that Lynch smuggles in, giving the impression that he has died of a heart attack. Next up, Face is later freed from another military jail by Hannibal. The colonel pretends to be a removal crew and steals the tanning machine that Face is in. Marshaled since they are a private enterprise. As a result, Sosa gets demoted back to lieutenant. On the other hand, for breaking an order and without the operation's legitimacy, members of the A-Team get 10 years in a maximum prison and are dishonorably discharged. Hannibal tries to take the blame, but the others refuse to be trialed separately. Then Hannibal and Face break out BA from the prison bus that is on the way to another prison. They manage to pull the door off with BA on it and move in the opposite direction. The group then manages to free Murdoch from a mental facility in Germany. The crew distracts the hospital staff and inmates with a 3D movie by which the team crashes their van through the wall of the building so Murdoch can get in and escape. Despite Sosa being there to stop them. The four of them then drive to a nearby United States military post to hijack a plane and flee. By this time, Sosa is hot on their tails, and she tries to stop them from leaving Germany in a military C-130 plane. Sosa believes that they are working with Pike and wants them alive so they can lead her to the main culprit. Later, the plane is shot down by two remote-controlled drone fighters, but the team manages to escape by parachuting inside the tank's body and maneuvering the 100-ton armored vehicle by firing its cannon and delaying their descent velocity. The team crash-landed the tank in a lake. At a CIA field office in Germany, Agent Lynch gets a threatening phone call from Sosa. The former captain warns Agent Lynch to move out of her way, or else she might cause trouble for Lynch as well. Meanwhile, Hannibal briefs his team on the incoming mission. With Pike getting sloppy and hiding his tracks, the distinguished ex-colonel easily manages to track Pike and gather some intel on their movements. But first, Hannibal decides to tip off Sosa and tell her the truth. He gives the mission to the best possible person, Sosa's ex-lover, Face. Moments later, Face cuffs Sosa in a photo booth where they had a bit of a scuffle about their past relationship. Turns out, Sosa bailed when the charming lieutenant was getting serious in the relationship. Anyways, Face then reveals that he and his team were framed by Pike back in Baghdad and that they need her help. Back on the ground, the A-Team follows Pike and the mystery Arab to an office building in Berlin, where they launch a surprise assault. The A-Team throws the Arab out of the building, where Murdoch catches using a helicopter in a few seconds. Hannibal then grabs the suitcase and rappels off the building. But Pike wasn't going down without a fight. He shoots the case off Hannibal and then races down to recover the case. The cunning Black Forest officer almost gets the case, but unfortunately for him, Hannibal gets back at him using a car. Pike goes after them but ends up getting arrested by Sosa and the German police. The A-Team successfully reclaim the plates while also kidnapping the Arab. The squad then couldn't believe it when they learned that the Arab was actually General Morrison. The crew wanted to get back at Morrison so bad, but they controlled their anger because he was the way out to prove their innocence. Turns out, the general worked with Lynch and Pike to steal the plates, but then Morrison teamed up with Pike to double-cross Lynch and fake his own death. When Lynch discovers that the squad is in control of Morrison, he orders an airstrike to eliminate them all at once. Morrison is killed, and members of the A-Team barely make it out alive. Afterward, Lynch then goes to free Pike from Sosa's custody. With their back against the wall and with little to no options left, Face devises a strategy. He knows full well that Agent Lynch has an eye out for Sosa. They then call Sosa and tells her that they have the plates but lies about the part where Morrison is alive. They intentionally let the convo drag out so that Lynch would hear everything. Hannibal arranges to see Sosa on a cargo ship at the dock in downtown Los Angeles. Hannibal strikes a deal that he will hand over Morrison and the plates in exchange for his and the others' freedom. Face then contacts her on a second, untraceable phone he had given her previously. Lynch gives Pike a second chance in exchange for helping him back. The CIA agent sets up a trap for the A-Team at the docks, but bad luck for him, Face has already anticipated the whole shebang. Face already reads Lynch like a book. He then plans and sets off an elaborate series of diversions that prompt Lynch's team to split up. The plan nearly goes to a bust when Pike unexpectedly fires a rocket at the ship, almost blowing it to smithereens. BA eventually kills Pike. Meanwhile, Lynch tracks down Hannibal and shoots the supposed hooded Morrison in the head. Hannibal charges, and the two engage in a vicious fistfight. As expected, Hannibal gets the upper hand, but Lynch grabs hold of a gun. However, the container is lifted, revealing that Sosa and dozens of federal agents are at the ready and guns drawn. It's then revealed that the supposed Morrison is Murdoch in a Kevlar helmet. The movie ends with Lynch getting apprehended by the CIA and another agent who introduces himself as Lynch. But, contrary to their expectations, the A-Team is arrested by the military once more, this time for